Hello, 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 my friends. Welcome to the reading tonight, or whenever you're watching this. I filmed this for my Tarot Tuesdays, but you could stumble into this reading at any time because if you found this video, that means it was meant for you. And I just lit this incense, which is an scent Nag Champa, and it's supposed to be aligned to the root chakra. Energies of grounding and getting stabilized. And I do feel like as we're going through transitions right now on a collective level, galactic level, and solar flares have been making their way to Earth and impacting us as well on an energetic level. We're going through changes and we're going to need some stability. We're going to need to be feeling grounded within our bodies as we're going through these changes within our DNA. In metaphysical ways that we can't even see, but we're definitely going to be feeling them, and we can see all the changes that are going around in our communities. So I set this intention for the collective to get grounded, and I'm just going to spread this actually about a little more with love. And if you haven't done so yet, I invite you to maybe pause the video, take a few deep breaths. Feel free to meditate for about 5 minutes if you'd like to, or as long as you need to. I did already a little bit of a meditation, but I will at least ground us a little bit more by ringing my sound bell. And this is aligned to the third eye chakra here for our intuition, energy center of trusting and seeing. So you can take a big deep breath in. Haven't already exhaled, exhale out. All right. Hope all your third eye chakras soak this in. And I would like to invite you guys to feel free to share if you also get any additional messages aside from what I share within this reading. Because part of my job as a reader is to guide you to also hone your intuition and grow it and just strengthen it. Because, if you're tapped into this reading tonight, that means you all are also most likely an empath and have your own intuitive abilities and clair abilities as well. Clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, whichever one resonates with you most. There's actually more too, but those are just some examples. But yeah, if you need a little bit of longer time, feel free to take a few more breaths. All together, we can take a big deep breath in, inside out. All right, and let's get started with this reading here tonight. I always make sure I ask my highest vibrational spirit guides and angels to align with your highest vibrational spirit guides and angels so that we can get clear messages for the highest good of all. I just choose to not want to say that for every reading right now as I'm filming because it can take a little while, and I am trying to get these readings done a little faster than I usually do. So without further ado, I'd like to say that the energy so far from what I felt, even as I was just setting up this whole space for the reading, I felt a little bit of restlessness. So perhaps that isn't the collective right now. You could be feeling a little restless, which I think would make sense with what's going on a geophysical level with the solar flares and whatnot. Definitely as we're transitioning through an old period of time to a new one, I can definitely see how it just would be impacting us in ways where we're just we have all this energy, and you're processing past things, maybe past traumas. But specifically, I want to go into a bit of some channelings that I was able to meditate on a bit, or as I was meditating, these images came up for me. Feel free to skip ahead if you would like to when we actually do the reading. But yeah, this won't be too long. So I started first getting the image of a burst of light, sort of like the Big Bang. So that connected me to the energy of new beginnings. And I know that sort of has been a theme in my readings for a little while now. And just the collective has been going through a lot of revelations and going through a lot of endings of certain cycles, certain patterns, certain ways of being. It's like in waves, depending on like what individuals are going through, but specifically bursts of light, like a big bang, sort of like starting all anew as a collective, though. On this is like a collective level, not just the individual. So it's like impacting all of us, these energy changes. And I was listening to a song that was called End of an Age by Anima. And I was even for a moment getting a little bit of like doubt, like, wait, maybe I should pause this as I'm doing meditation. And I was like, no, I think this is meant to be part of it too. And I feel like that connected to that burst of light, that big bang burst of light energy. And I feel that just the title of the song, End of an Age, it just shows that, yeah, the collective is going through the end of an age, and we're now entering the age of Aquarius, where it's all about truth and clarity and humanitarianism and revolution and authenticity. And I feel that we are at the end of an age. Maybe we just passed through. Timeline shifts have already been happening, so if you already know about those, I don't have to go deep into that. But feel free to like look it up if you're not sure what I mean by timeline shifts. But definitely we've already started timeline shifting. Those of us who are ready to progress our lives in a way where we're done with the cognitive machine, stuck in the mold way of life, we already have started shifting into maybe a new perception, a new way of feeling just about your circumstances. But yeah, we're definitely at the end of an age as a collective, and things just are not going to be the same. Energies that prove this as well that I wrote down, the spring equinox energy is huge. It's where like light and dark balances. And that's also why the energy can feel like a lot and a little unsettling and restless. And you probably feel that in your body. Like even I earlier today felt a little bit of like pains up here, and it was weird. It was like actually after doing some yoga, and it was like I was like, I definitely didn't feel this before doing the yoga, and I feel like I would have noticed it. And it was just like, yeah, like turning my head certain directions feels weird. But I'm intuitively sensing like, okay, energy was trying to move up my body and is trying to make its way out. And it could probably even align to the throat chakra too, just like behind the back, though. It's interesting. It's like, I don't know if anyone else has been having any weird body aches or pains or any other things that your body's signaling to you, that's been happening in the past few days. But yeah, I mean, it's like the back, the throat chakra is here, so a bit of hesitance toward like speaking your truth, speaking up. Let's see. I'll read a little bit of what astrological events are going on in a moment as well soon. So galactic origins is also a note as well. So maybe I feel like if you're watching this reading, you could be someone that already knows about galactic origin, star seeds, star beings. And I feel that that is definitely becoming more to the forefront, to the public. So there's more revelations about that. Also, the collective, this one I was not exactly sure if it was like just an energy for this week. Definitely isn't just this week, but maybe some people are thinking of space travel. I just feel like in general that as a concept is starting to be introduced to the collective. And then also maybe for some of you guys, you could be astral projecting for the first time this week. Some of you guys may already be doing that. That's for sure. I already know that. I don't do it yet, so who knows, maybe I could be astral projecting this week too, but that could be something that you could be doing. But space travel could also just be the concept of, like, if we were to go to other planets, like, what would that look like, Like, would we be literally going through a spaceship, or would we be actually, like, teleporting there, or, like, what, Something related to, like, space and galactic origins. Definitely because of the song. Because I'm like, maybe there is, like, a hesitance, too, I feel. There's, like, yeah, there's a restless energy of, like, making a choice in ways, or knowing for sure, like, what is being communicated to you. And I feel like that's just coming through in the way I'm communicating this too. Definitely something with space and galactic origins. I do feel like this is a huge thing though, and I feel like that's part of that burst of light energy I was getting. A lot of people are going to be learning about that, or human beings' connection to the galaxy and star beings, aliens in general, etc. And then I also had I don't want to say the feeling, but just sort of like the image. It was like sort of like battling, yeah, sort of like once again like decision between two like settings. It's like I was sort of envisioning. I guess it was myself, but it didn't look like me. But it was like underwater yet in space. That's what I wrote down. And dot 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 both. So I feel like it's sort of like the energy of like yin yang, or like two truths can exist at once, which I did mention in my afterwards, after the meditation I did live on YouTube. And it was just something that came up even when responding to someone in a comment before. And I feel like the collective accepting and knowing that two truths can exist at once, you know, doesn't, there's like many truths, many perspectives. And then, yeah, that underwater yet in space, it's interesting. Maybe there's like connection, even through all of this, connection to the galactic origins that also are connected to underwater, too, being underwater. And I feel that I did see some articles recently that people were finding like structures underwater, like deep underwater, as if there was a civilization down there. And that's definitely going to be connected to Lemuria, as there's more research going on about that. For anyone who doesn't know, Lemuria is one of the ancient civilizations of beings that were here on Earth, like thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And also the last thing I wrote down was as above, so below. And that concept means basically that all in life is connected and is a mirror of each other. And I even specifically looked it up just to like give it a better definition from Google. It says, as above, so below is a hermetic maxim, meaning the macrocosm, universe, spiritual realm, and the microcosm, human body, physical realm, mirror each other. It suggests that patterns at higher levels are reflected on lower levels, implying that spiritual, physical, and cosmic laws are interconnected. So yeah, everything's connected. So I feel that, you know, yes, water and space will also be connected too. Space is, there's still so much about the galaxy that's like, you know, needs to be discovered. And same thing about, honestly, the ocean underwater too. They're like these vast, like, bodies of like space bodies of like energy. I feel like that, you know, us as in a human being identity, we don't really explore that. Anyway, so those are my messages. Yeah, and if that connects to anything for you or anything you've been thinking about recently, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, we're going to get into the actual reading here. Starting with the affirmation of the week. I pulled it for my meditation earlier. It says, I have the ability to create my own authentic energy. I have the ability to create my own authentic energy. And I feel that is the energy I feel like that we're coming into with this end of an era, and now we're starting a new beginning of an era. The burst of light, you know, I feel like this is like the revelation people are having, is that, yeah, I have like this Christ consciousness, this God consciousness. And that was like my meditation yesterday for Tuesday's live stream. And knowing that, yeah, we do have the ability to create our own authentic energy. We are the awareness, the source, the God, the universe, whichever word you feel most aligned to use. Just that pure source of awareness that we all connect to, when you realize you have awareness, and then you're like, oh, that is God, that is us. We are all that, living in separate reflections. And I will probably say that quite a bit until some people really get it. I don't know, I feel like sometimes it just needs to be repeated, because as a human being, life is, it just sort of, you know, distracts us. Life has so many things that just make us forget who we really are at our core. So but yeah, aside from that, I actually forgot to mention, sorry, I said I wanted to talk about the astrological events that connect to the end of an age energy, and that was a song I said by Anima. As of late March 2026, I want to read some of this, not all of it. We have quite a bit of astrological events. We just went into a Pisces new moon on March 18th. So that sets new dreamy goals paired with the Aries equinox that we just had, right? Marking, and Aries is the youngest sign in the zodiac. It technically begins a new astrological year. And basically, and Aries is very headstrong, has a very forward energy, fiery energy. And let's see, Mars, which is the planet of willpower, aggression, just forward drive. Aggression sounds negative, but forward drive. Mars and the North Node are in Pisces. North Node is what basically determines destiny. They're in Pisces right now, energetically. So that affects the collective because we're pushing forward for emotional action. While a lack of major retrogrades, so we're done with retrogrades, it provides a direct forward moving energy. So yeah, there's definitely like forward movement. Maybe definitely I'd say take your time. I feel like even I'm needing to want to take my time because I'm talking a little bit fast, even though I'm like, no, I'm gonna do things in a certain amount of time. I'm feeling like I have to like catch my words a little more. So you could be also doing that. Maybe be mindful of like what you're saying, being intentional with what you're saying more than anything. Oh, oops, what's going on here? I have something like lagging. Ooh, okay. All right. So next up we have, oh, okay, recent and upcoming transitions. So March 24th, which would be today that this reading's coming out, it says Moon Uranus square, a transitory aspect bringing erratic energy, surprise shifts in plans, or sudden impulses, particularly in financial or social matters. Okay, so being mindful of that, as I did say earlier, we are going through a transition, so we're going to need to be feeling grounded as much as we can. I say take pauses and breathe. Remember to do that as much as you can. Even honestly, I set alarms on my phone that are called censoring alarms, and they remind me to breathe too. And just pause and be aware of how I'm feeling and what's going on. So maybe you need to do that too. That could be something you try if you feel like you're being pulled in different directions and you just need more time to like ground and settle in. Aside from that, it says Chiron in Aries, so continues to highlight wounds related to personal identity, independence, and courage, encouraging healing through self-assertion. All right, so yeah, that is a transitional period that we're going through, and I feel like, yeah, the end of an age of like, oh, shoots, like, you know, we're not just human, we're not just here to work a 9 to 5, like, there's so much more that we're connected to, and I feel like there is this, like, forward movement of, like, yeah, I want to know more about this, I want to connect to more of this as I go about my life, so let me know if that resonates with you. There's definitely a lot of information coming out, even the History Channel is releasing old episodes, actually, of their show, Ancient Aliens, so, you know, maybe no one took it seriously before, but they're going to take it seriously now, because we are connected to them. You know, there's a whole galaxy of other planets that and stars that surround us. Like, we definitely have never been alone, and we never will be. But yeah, but with that being said, know that you do have the ability to create your own authentic energy. Hell yeah. And if you like this affirmation card, candy cards, you can find it in the description. I sell these. I make these with my best friend. We're both owners of this, and we're hoping to make it a really successful company, spreading love and light and affirmations, giving them out as trinkets at events. All right, so now we're going to do Higher Self Message card. Let's see what we got. Oh, okay, and that was ready. That definitely came out with a burst here. Look at this. Whoa. It's red. It aligns to our grounding energies, I feel like, and our incense. Okay, so it says, you've had the power all along. Now you just need to believe it. You've had the power all along. Now you need to just believe it. Hell yeah, man. This definitely aligns to what's going on right now, and it aligns to the meditation I did last night on my Candy Wellness YouTube page. It's literally like, guys, you know, some people may not get this if they're watching this, they may not fully understand. But just remember, source, spirit, God, universe, it's not outside of you. It's not separate from you. You are also it. And I feel like when that's said, it can be a little hard to interpret that. But it's like when you really just pause and realize, like, how is it that I even have an awareness and have a life here? You know? And then that same awareness that I have is the same awareness that the person next to me has. That one awareness doesn't have an identity or a name. It's just what it is. But we call it God, we call it source, spirit, whatever, universe. All right, all those things. And we are that pure awareness of no judgment, of just unconditional love holding us in the space and wanting to experience, just, you know, had to have an experience. And you do have the power. You have the power all along to create your world the way you want to create it. And you're going through the experience of your life as source energy, just to experience yourself over and over and over again, and to remember yourself through different lifetimes, through different fractals of your energy, you know, of your way of being and existing. You forgot, and now you can remember. But you also just need to believe it, and like in your soul, you know, if you can tell yourself, I can create what I want to create in my world, and I can live my life to the fullest capacity, then you will. And I say it until you mean it. And I feel like this energy that's red here shows grounding. You needing to have, you know, the drive to want to ground yourself, not depend on anyone else but yourself in that way. Like, still ask for help, still ask for support if you need to, but no one's going to make you believe that you have the power if you don't believe you have the power, right? And it's all for you internally to do that work within yourself, to believe that you have the power. And this is like a red ball of like, I don't know why I just keep feeling like it looks like it could be Earth, but it's like this ball that's on a different planet or something. It's just interesting to me. Like, so I think what else I see with this is there's another planet out there too. And part of me feels like it's Mars energy too. Like, is this on Mars or the moon? So interesting. Yeah, I feel like there's like a lot of questions right now. Like, even just me asking questions, usually I'm just like sensing, you know, and I'm able to give my feedback, but this I'm like, huh? Question mark? So I feel like there is like a lot of questioning, and that's fine, and I feel the collective needs to question and accept that there won't always be answers, and that's fine, and answers will come to you as you need to if they're meant to. You know? Don't try to force too much, but at least know you have the power to influence your life and to learn more, you know? I feel like this is just like a ball of fire that's connected to the universe itself, and that's why it's like, you know, as above, so below. I feel like that's that energy there. As above, so below. Yeah, I like that. That definitely does connect to that. The red energy is above and the energy is below, and they're reflecting each other there. So believe that you are the person that you want to be, that you want to see enjoying life, being fulfilled in life, because it does already exist. Maybe another timeline, maybe you don't see everything perfectly in place right now, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to get there, you know. And I say try to be as excited as you can be right now, that, you know, things are lining up because of who you are in the present, creating the future, that the future version of you that you desire already exists. All right, so now I'm going to pull 3 cards. 3 energy cards here. Well, tarot cards are not energy cards, but they are given energy. Usually energy cards I call the oracle cards. But I'm going to pull 3 cards. Ooh. All right. There's a lot going on here. Ooh, there's a lot. Okay. So we're going to say 5 of Pentacles. Choose one. I think that there's so many cards and it's like indecisiveness. Okay, so I'm pulling from my Mystic Mondays deck, which I actually have not used in a while. And I love it. It has pictures on the back, shows you some of the cards. It's like for the modern mystic, and it says trust your intuition inside the box, and I love that. It's so cute. The reason why I haven't used it in a while is because this one I just felt like, oh, if I ever do on a Monday, sure, but technically I do film these like middle of the night, well, Monday night into Tuesday, so yeah, I figured, okay, you know what, let's do it. All right, so as I was doing these cards and shuffling, and there would be so many that popped out, but it's like more of the energy of like a lot of options, not exactly sure, you know, what's going on, questions, restlessness. Like, it's just like a lot that wants to come out, but you gotta discern, and I feel like that's the energy. You gotta discern. All right, a lot of chaos just happened here. I'm probably gonna cut out all that. So first we have 5 of Pentacles. I'm gonna move this up. All right, so first we have 5 of Pentacles, and it's this energy of the divine feminine. I do feel like this is within the collective of like feeling alone and looking for support. Definitely throat chakra and heart chakra comes up, like wanting to feel heard or wanting to speak out, wanting to express, wanting to connect through love. And there's like a change that is going on in the collective, of course, where we're connecting through the heart center and allowing others to speak and feel heard, holding space. But also maybe just doing that for ourselves on an individual level as well, like really hearing what our own desires, wants, and needs are. So there's that energy. I feel that, yeah, needing to take up space and allowing others the space, you know, to be heard is really important right now. And that was talked about in a podcast that I watched. But I feel that energy of change. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like there's like the need for some kind of support and connection for sure. And this is like the divine feminine. That's, you know, she's healing. You know, she's coming on an uprising within the collective. That's what I see through that. And our next card here is 3 of Wands reversed. So I know looking at this image, it's like, okay, what the heck? 3 of Wands. This is what it looks like upright. Sun in the background. I feel like this has a lot to do with, I'd say, things feeling just like things are just gonna be going differently in our collective. It's like, you know, looking at it right side up, it's like, okay, these are some normal cylinders here. And then when it's reversed, it's like, what's going on? Like, what? Sticking out of the sky. Things are like topsy-turvy kind of energy. Topsy-turvy. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious, this 3 of Wands. Because I just feel like I've never seen something so basic on a card before. But, you know, there is actually a lot to pull from this still, even though it is really basic. And it's really about getting creative. And I feel like that is like what this is also about. I feel like getting creative, like with what we have available to us, is actually what's happening here. And we're like, what the heck is going on? But you know, as human beings, we can create so much. We are amazing beings. And I feel like that is coming through with this too. Just like what things are not making sense, but we're like making sense of it for ourselves. And I think that's what's happening definitely in the present moment. I think these cards I still end up going with past, present, future somehow. And I'm just gonna move this over a little bit in case you guys want to see it a little bit more. Now you have the 3 of Swords. So there's some heartbreak, but it's reversed that I was looking at it. So 3 of Swords, this is upright, and this is it in reverse. So I feel like it's like transmuting. That what comes to me, this is one of the cards I feel like that comes the most easily to me. I feel like this is transmuting the pain into purpose and passion. And that's my motto. And that's something I just like, it's my theme for me, is reminding people that we may be experiencing this human life and there's a lot of pain, but you know, you can give it purpose, and that's your choice to do that, to alchemize that, you know, rather than just waddle in it and allow yourself to stay in a victim mentality. And I think we're all human and we all will go there at times, and I think that's fine. But just knowing, like, you know, hell yeah, like, I can turn this upside down, you know what I mean? Like, if I want to. And there was a lot of heartbreak, a lot of feeling alone. But at the same time, you're making the choice to... Forgiveness comes in, so I feel like maybe making a choice to forgive. But it doesn't mean you have to forget either. And I know that's mentioned a bit, I'm sure, when it comes to forgiving. But just remembering that, like, you know, you can honestly take these out. You can take these swords out of your heart, you know? You don't have to hold on to the pain from a situation. And it doesn't mean that it was not valid, you know? It doesn't mean that it wasn't important or what someone did wasn't terrible, you know, that they shouldn't feel the weight of it just because you choose not to hold on to it. But you choose to take out these swords out of your heart because you know that you deserve better than holding on to that, you know, especially if, who knows, if you know, someone else's heart You know, they took out their swords. It's like, why not you? You know, why shouldn't you be allowed to? And so I feel like on a collective level, this is healing. This is us healing on a collective level. And I do feel like it all starts within ourselves. Honestly, it's funny because I feel like looking at this, it sort of looks like kids toys. And I was sort of like, what is this? But it's so simple. But it's like also, you know, I think that's also a definition of life. Like life can be complicated. It's like, okay, this can be complicated to interpret, but also being creative and just, you know, honestly sort of just being simply what's being shown, you know. Life is complicated yet simple at the same time. And the complication comes more from our minds and how we end up interpreting things. So I want to pull an Angel Wisdom's Oracle card. All right, because I feel like, well, they're holding the heart, you know, to their chest, and I feel like, you know, we could use that, you know, as we're going through our changes and transitions here. And it's cool that two of the cards had three of wands, 3 of swords. Okay, so we have one that fell out. Courage. Okay, I think this does align to all that red energy, and especially with the higher self message. So courage, it says, my bravery increases with each step in the right direction. The angels remind you that you become more confident and courageous by facing your fears daily. Each time that you face fear, it slowly begins to wither away. And as a result, you start to grow into the courageous person you're meant to become. So taking risks, guys, I think that's important. That 3 of Wands energy is, honestly, that is taking a risk. If I think of the original, the original artwork for the 3 of Wands, it is usually like a person looking out into the distance. Yeah, like they're gonna go traveling or something. So I don't know if anyone else is also trying to think of traveling, but I didn't really get that with this card. I feel like this was more like creativity and just be creative out of something that could seem complicated, but yet simple at the same time. But yeah, I feel like courage is gonna be what it takes for us in the collective to really make these differences here. The courage to believe that we have the power and to take accountability over our lives, not just waiting for our government to tell us what to do, you know? Because as we can see, if people have been paying attention, especially if you're in this reading, hopefully you've been paying attention to what's going on. Doesn't mean you have to watch the news or anything all the time, but it's just like, I don't watch the news all the time. Just knowing that, like, yeah, there's our whole system has been like fed as a lie, you know, to us. And I think a lot of people are a little afraid to have courage about that, to like admit that to themselves. And, you know, being complacent right now is not the answer. The answer is to have courage and to believe in ourselves, you know, more than anything, that we are God, that we are, you know, we're not separate from God, universe, spirit. We are it already. It's awareness, it's pure awareness. And then when we remember that, the moment we're aware in any situation, we embody that consciousness, you know, and choose love and choose loving actions with intention. Choose to observe rather than hurt others, you know, or judge. So yeah, I don't know, something with the 3rd chakra here. I just feel like, you know, speaking was a little hard for me throughout this, and so maybe some people are feeling frazzled, and also just maybe you need to drink some water. Maybe we need to drink some water more. I think honestly, yeah, let's connect to water more. But aside from that, I feel like maybe you just need to speak more, speak your truth more, and there's enough room to do that all over social media. And just, you know, it's like, who cares if someone thinks, you know, whatever you're saying doesn't make sense or whatever. Maybe you need to speak your truth in some way, and it doesn't have to be social media, it's just an example, but maybe you need to speak up. All right. So that is it for this week's reading. I usually like to go in deep. I used to do my live streams, but I am building boundaries for myself, so this is all I'm doing for now. If you want me to dive deeper into this reading for your specific situation, let me know. I would love to do that. And yeah, I mean, I also have my Galactic Star Tarot deck. I didn't get to pull that. I actually wanted to, but I feel like with what we have here, this is enough to work with. This is definitely the deep internal work we need to do for ourselves, you know. That 5 of Pentacles, maybe asking for support when we need it, but also like being there for ourselves more than anything, you know, nurturing ourselves. It's all going to start there, you know, and allowing ourselves to feed our inner child. That's still a theme, because that's what needs a lot of healing for the majority of us in the collective. But yeah, I do feel a lot of hope for the collective. It definitely feels like hopeful, and We just need to remember, keep remembering that you have the power, that you are the power itself. You exist with awareness, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so that is it for the messages tonight. Yeah, if you like the candy cards, like I said, it's in the description. And yeah, feel free to reach out on Instagram. You can message me. That'll be the best bet. And if you want a personal reading, we can tap in deeper for you. My prices are not bad. They're like at minimum, let's see, like I can't remember how much pendulums are. $5, $10, $10 probably. Probably $5 minimum to like at most $40 for like a whole entire spread. And I'd be doing the whole spread separate from just whatever I even pulled here using a different deck. But yeah, love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Ground yourselves. Remember, one step at a time. Musa. Peace and one love. Bye, guys. Do this, the heart and heart. Bye, guys. Peace. Bye.